The PWC Network. What the world is watching and listening to. The PWC Network. What the world is watching and listening to.
Omega building up momentum. And
careful here. Oh, man.
Nice counter. He lost track of Pac, and now Pac coming in over the top of the cutter.
Yeah, Pac just shutting down Omega real quick.
Now it's just a case of being Omega being a little bit overzealous.
The pump kick to the face of Omega, but Omega comes back with the the diving back elbow. German suplex. Pac lands on his feet. But doubles over Omega. And oh no! Brain buster! What a counter there by Kenny!
Hard impact. Hard impact. And he's got to try to get Matt in this thing here.
Don, I noticed you keep looking over your shoulder. Nick Jackson still has not emerged.
Yeah, no update yet, but right now, I mean, Kenny's doing a great job, and Matt looks fresh, so we need to get him in there. Look at this now.
I like your confidence, Don, but this elite team is in big trouble here.
Pac is on the wrong side of the fence, but he's about to put out Matt Jackson.
Oh, my man! Package pile driver, the fear factor on the apron, and now Kenny Omega.
3-on-1 situation now, guys.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
Omega on his own. Now the Lucha Brothers going to work. Kenny hoisted up to the ropes.
Amazing. Phoenix, amazing.
Taking flight, and now
Pump handle here.
Main penta. And Ray Phoenix up to the top. Inverted frog splash. 1, 2, no!
And that's just that big match experience by Kenny Omega, kicking out on the proverbial instincts.
Great
well
call.
done. Yeah,
Great
well
call.
done there, man.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you are 100% on that.
That comes with just years and years of matches to this level.
Pac up to the top. Could be thinking Black Arrow. If he hits it, this would be it. Omega avoided it at the last possible moment.
There's fight left to Kenny Omega. Look at this.
Here he comes.
He's hobbling. He can barely walk. And he's making his way to the ring.
Nick Jackson. Yeah, Nick. Yeah, it's just very well. It's all expiring. He's definitely got an issue. He wants in.
This is just what the Elite needed. Nick Jackson on the apron, waiting for the tag. Omega makes the tag. And Nick now the legal man.
He's just running on the motion right now, guys. That's all he's doing.
More ground-based offense now, too.
You're right. You're right. He's throwing punches and strikes because he probably can't move off that ankle like he normally does.
But the lariat by Nick Jackson cuts off the momentum of Pac.
Oh, yes.
Cutter by Nick.
Oh, nicely done.
I love how Nick Jackson, to your point, Don, has called an audible on his offense right now. I love it.
And Nick Jackson waiting for Phoenix to get up. The super kick intercepted by Phoenix. And
Oh, my God. They didn't break his ankle.
Ref never saw it. Referee.
the hammer to the ankle behind the referee's back.
Wow, like it or not, that was genius. I'm sorry. That was smart.
Death Triangle. They've captured both of their matches via the hammer. And now, Ray Phoenix.
With that inverted knee bar.
Gonna roll. He's gonna roll.
Oh, he's tapping. Oh, my God.
Jackson forced to tap out.
Holy wow.
Death Triangle, the AEW World Trios Champions, now with a 3-1 advantage, a near impossible deficit for the Elite.
Yeah, what a hole the Elite is in, but the bigger picture is the condition of that ankle of Nick Jackson. I'm telling you, man, that hammer shot was nasty, boys.
I hate to second-guess Nick Jackson because I know he's running on emotion. And you can never second-guess a guy like him and an athlete like him. But was it smart to come back in?
Well, we know match 5 in this series will take place next Wednesday night at Dynamite Live from San Antonio, Texas. Can Death Triangle close it out? What condition will not only Nick Jackson be in, but Kenny and Matt as well? They took a beating in this match, Ted.
They sure did, but I'm telling you right now, I've definitely got to be concerned for Nick. I mean, like I said earlier, like it or not, it was very smart, creative, nasty, dastardly by Penta to use that hammer. You know, Pac loves that.
Well, still to come tonight, the AEW World Championship title match. Oh, wait.
There's going to be enough talking in the show as it is. So what I'm about to say, it's not for you guys. Not for the people at home. I'm talking on the mic right now because I got a message for you, and I want to make sure you hear it. For anyone that watches sports, 3-1 deficit. Oh, that's pretty bad. Every single match, you guys used a hammer. Very cute. How about the next match? The one that you guys got advantage going into. How about we make the hammer legal?
Oh. Wow, how about that? That's heavy. That is.
I can't lie. I'm not really one to lay down the hammer like you guys. So how about we not only make hammers legal, we make all weapons legal. We are sick of playing by your rules. So let's just make it so that there aren't any rules at all. The next match, the one where you guys can take it all, let's make it no DQ.
Wow, that's big.
1 week from tonight, San Antonio, Texas. We'll have to find out if Tony Khan
Agrees with
I
this.
will
I
even
agree
make
with
it
this.
so that you guys decide. I'll let the people in the back. Heck, I'll even let you fans decide. Let's hear it.
Well, obviously the fans want it.
With that being said, back to regular scheduled programming. I was not formatted to cut this promo, so I'll bid you adieu. Goodbye for now. Mwah! And good night. Bang!
Well, despite what Kenny Omega said, we still have an amazing night of action for you in store.
Hello everyone and welcome to the PWC Wednesday Night Skirmish Winter's Coming Edition. I'm your host Jimmy T, and my co-host is back as always. It's Evil Winter Dose, Dr. Jeff Lippman. I thought winter was already here, man.
Not the solstice yet, but listen, that Kenny Omega, he's pretty boring, isn't it?
Why?
That
Because he
promo
went
was
mwah,
terrible.
bang. It wasn't even. It
I
wasn't
wasn't
even. It was alright. I mean,
the promo.
well, what's even more funnier? Why did we get the NBA on NBC theme at the start? I know because it's Game 5, whatever, Game 4, whatever the fucking match was.
This is the song that Tony Khan was talking about. That was his favorite song that he got the rights to.
I get the fuck out of here, dude.
Seriously, this is. I know
it's
thought it was like,
legendary. I remember it fondly too.
Or maybe some of the Wiggle songs we were singing a few weeks back.
True. That was a long time ago, Jeff. Now, but look, this song is very nostalgic for me too, growing up, right? But for the NBA on NBC, not some fantasy. I don't know what the fuck's going on with Tony Khan.
Yes, you do.
Okay, I do. It's true. But is this
Winter
really
theme
talking
continues with snow.
Wow, damn. And I'm not gonna lie, I like this tune too. I mean, shit.
Okay, everyone hears it.
Damn.
We've heard it out for the last 10 minutes. Nobody likes it that much.
Oh man, I just feel like saying it's the NBA on the PWC.
How about you say it's the end and just
true. You must hate this tune now. Hearing it everywhere, right? It's everywhere once again.
I'm hating it just from this show.
I love you, Jeff. Seriously.
What's that for?
Anyway, well,
I'm cranky. I'm grumpy.
typical fucking mid-aged man. I mean,
I'm evil.
You're evil, definitely, and your evil winter dose. How does that make sense? Are you melting the ice, Jeff?
I am. It's winter is coming.
It's coming all over my face at this point, Jeff. Why do the hell do they?
Meister, I'm Mr. Cold. I'm Mr. White Christmas. I'm Mr. 30 Below.
Speaking of Mr. Cold, do you remember a character called Injured Cold?
Well, Andrew Cole?
No, Injured or something like that. Injured Cold.
I don't think so, no.
Have you heard of Mothman?
The Mothman Prophecies?
Well, that's the movie, but have you heard of Mothman?
The Mothman, yeah, the urban legend, sure, of course.
Right. Well, apparently, the actual Mothman's name is Injured Cold.
Oh, no. He's the Smiling Man. Which the Mothman and the Smiling Man often get confused together.
Well, I'm more of a Mothman, literally.
Right. The people who took the Mothman
that's what
and popularized it,
right here.
They took the two urban legends and put them together. The Smiling Man is sort of like a psychotic portender of your death. The Mothman is supposed to be almost like an alien presence that comes and scurries you away.
Yeah, well, Mothman used to really open my mind back in the day. But anyway,
this is a great segue, because there's going to be another crossover event on the Drew Yari Show, where I go on the Drew Yari Show and we do a Discord, and we're going to cover urban legends, and the Mothman legend is one of the ones we're going to cover, as well as Candyman and Bloody Mary and
Bloody Mary, fuck that.
Smiling Man, and yeah.
Well, do you think the Mothman thing is always sort of opened my mind a little bit because of the amount of witnesses that were on hand during that time? I mean, something was going on, right? I mean, in Virginia, wasn't it? Mount Pleasant, Virginia,
listen,
I believe.
You know that I'm just a more kempt version of that GIF where the guy is saying, "I'm not saying it was aliens, but it was aliens."
But it was aliens. I get you.
That's me.
You're talking about Tulakos?
Don't even know his name. All I know
he's
is
a great guy. He's actually a great guy. Funny enough.
He's
anyway,
from the Tony.
more crazy.
Really bad news for you.
What? What's that?
It turns out the ancient Anatolians seeded the Greeks, not the other way around.
Jeff, blow me. Okay.
I will not.
Please, don't even go there. First of all, you know Greek right now is the oldest language that's still spoken of right now on this planet, and then followed by Cantonese and Mandarin, whatever.
I'm
Chinese.
not sure there's any actual way to determine that.
Well, Greek hasn't changed so much since thousands of years ago.
Well, I mean, there's Proto-Greek. I mean, listen, if you spoke to someone from Greece 1,000 years ago, they would know what the fuck you're saying.
Yeah, but we can understand, we can read ancient Greek though, and we can understand a lot of things, right? But there's a lot of things that doesn't make sense either.
A lot of pronunciations, but you're right. The Cyrillic-based, more character-driven.
Cyrillic is different to Greek, even though it looks similar. Cyrillic is the Slav alphabet, but Greek is called what's the fucking thing called again?
Ionic.
No. There's another one. I forgot, man. It'll come back to me.
This is embarrassing to you.
Anyway, doesn't matter. No, I know it, but I'll get back to you. Anyway, we're here to talk professional wrestling. Wow. Not even though it's better talking about aliens and talking about ancient stuff.
You know, let's start with my segment of say something nice about AEW.
It was a fun show. The crowd was great.
Great crowd. The crowd was definitely hot, and they popped before Ricky Starks, which was great.
They ate it, dude. It was like everyone was a rock star fucking that was coming out, dude. It was weird.
And they popped for Brian, which is good. That's because like he's been sort of, I don't know, he's had a confusing character the entire time he's been there.
It's like this, dude. 1 week he's a heel, 1 week he's a face, 1 week he's this, 1 week he's that. What the fuck is he, Jeff?
Right now he's a face, right? You know, with wants to get revenge on his mind because his father, whose name cannot be mentioned anymore, has passed on. But the thing I want to say nice about AEW is that I'm not going to say all the content was great. I'm not going to say it was all bad or anything like that. But the balance between matches, vignettes, interviews, backstage interviews, promos, and other miscellaneous segments was a really good balance. The show flow felt normal. It didn't feel cluttered. It felt professionally produced. And they've had that before, and then they fell off. Like when Sanjay Dutt first got there, it seemed like he was doing some of that, and then he became more of an on-screen character, and like it started to fall into chaos again. Maybe it is that new guy that they hired from WWE. I don't know, but whatever it is, last night's show felt a lot more like, well, a TV show, not a train wreck.
Yeah, you know what? I dare say, Jeff, this was possibly the best professional wrestling show of the week. And I'm talking about including last week sort of thing, like.
Are you including?
Since after Dynamite.
I mean, are you including the PLEs and the pay-per-views?
Yes.
No, I like Deadline better, but this was as far as the regular TV shows so far, yeah, for sure.
Well, it was an exciting show. It was a fun show. Again, look, I'm a sucker for the fans. Yeah, if the fans are hot, it automatically makes a good show much better. And just quietly, before I move on, thank you for letting me know, because I don't know if you heard, but the last couple of shows we did, I sounded like crap.
Well,
no one told me.
I told you that there was a lag, but I mean, but you always sound the same to me, just because you know.
Yeah, I know.
The lag was annoying, and we were speaking over each other. Mostly me speaking over you because of the delay.
I know why that was a delay, because for some fucking reason, my phone was being used as the microphone instead of my mic over here.
Goddamn phone.
Yeah, I know. Fucking Apple. Anyway.
It's not fucking Apple, it's fucking Jimmy. Get something else. Your phone is something that belongs on the side. It's not something crucial to your podcast. I mean, look at your setup. You got lights there. You got neon. You got posters all over. You got all the PWC thumbnails up there. You got this fancy microphone that hangs from your ceiling. You got like a buffer in front of it. Jeez, I mean, you got wires everywhere. I mean, you got a soundboard. You're like DJ Mass Effect. So it's like, I use my phone to video. I mean, at least with one of those perpetual chargers under it.
Do I sound? I'm not crying. Like,
stop crying.
No, you're making me sound like I've got nothing. Like, I've got nothing. Why me? Blah blah blah. But anyway, enough of me.
Stop crying, you whiny bitch.
Well, Jeff, you're on fire. Definitely. Winter has not come on you just yet.
You know who hasn't come to? Chris Ambulance, who's apparently has
Chris
taken
Ambulance.
He's summering beneath the Rio Grande River.
Yeah, what the hell, Chris?
He summers now.
I thought we were doing something this week, remember? But
no, he's wintering. He's wintering in south of the border. I don't want to give away his secret location in case it's secret.
He's hanging out with El Chico El Luchador, apparently.
I assume this is his honeymoon.
Shout outs to Chris. I didn't ask him, actually. I should have asked. Are you going with your significant other of 1 week?
Pregnant with triplets already?
Well,
by the time he gets back, he'll be 4 years old.
Chris Ambulance. I like it.
Chris Ambulance.
Anyway.
There you go.
Ambulance, should I say.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff.
Speaking of the Rio Grande, just north of the Rio Grande in San Antonio.
Yeah, true. That's very true. You know what? Rampage is looking stacked too this week, Jeff, which I'm actually kind of happy about.
Well, he said he was going to start loading up Rampage. I'm not exactly sure I'm ready to call it stacked, but Listen, if you're an AEW fan, you're going to think that Sammy Guevara against Jon Moxley is a good match. If you're me, you're like, oh my God, they said the BCC versus the JS was done. They said it 3 times. Yet we're getting the BCC versus the JS again. But there's a couple other matches on there that look like they're they're not throwaway matches.
No, and let's hope we have a good show, because I assume you and I are probably reviewing it, actually, Jeff.
Well, unless Chris is between Tequila Sunrise is gonna.
Well, speaking of Chris, I just want to say I remember a time where he was in Mexico and he still did a show in Mexico.
Mexico? You just gave up his location.
Oh, whoops! I'm sure he wouldn't care anyway. But my point is, we've done shows while he's been in Mexico. Now, I don't know.
I don't know. All I know is I'm feeling very much like Blake. What's his name? Anthony Henry and JD Drake. I look more like JD Drake. I'm the workhorse man.
Oh, are they a thing? And can I ask, did Sonny Kiss get released, or was I seeing things?
I haven't heard it, so it doesn't mean you're seeing things, but I haven't heard it. I mean, I think that would get around. Then again, every day this week has been like a one-story day. Like, we started the week with Vince wants to come back. Then the next day, Mandy gets released, so nothing else matters. Then today, they're reporting again that Sasha's been released, and it was negotiated months ago, and nothing else matters. So, so something like Sonny Kiss getting released could easily have gotten lost in the cracks of a normal person, but not me.
Actually, I'm glad you brought up Sasha Banks before we get into Dynamite, because is she under a deal with TK, you think, here, or is WWE and New Japan truly playing the forbidden door?
I think it's neither. I think that WWE just gave her permission to do whatever she wants until sometime in January. She's still on there. She's still on the roster. She herself has said, I'm still under contract with WWE. So obviously she was not released months ago. Now, the terms of her release were negotiated months ago. I guess that theoretically could be possible, and the release has not yet happened. It's just been agreed to, but I don't believe it. I don't think so. And we haven't seen pictures of her traipsing around all over the place. We haven't seen pictures of her with Trinity Fatu, Naomi, by her side all the time as an ornament. So, I don't know. Like I said, I think Sasha's just doing some bucket list items, and I think that she'll be back. But who knows? I mean, this. I know she's not happy about this thing with Mandy Rose, but the end of the day, as it turns out, this was Mandy Rose's choice, and apparently, gross makes something like $400,000 a month on Fan Time. I mean, before. Fan Time's cut is not only fans' cut; they take a cut, but whatever. If it's $350,000 a month gross, that's like over $4 million. So she's not making that in WWE. She with all the merchandise and everything, she might be making $400,000 or $500,000. So if you're going to make 10 times, and I'm sure she knows that if she's not on TV every week, that those numbers will go down, just like Thea Trinidad learned. But even if you only have a year and a half and you make $7 million, I mean, if you're like halfway smart, you can, you're set for life. And she has other opportunities. I mean, I'm sure like modeling, probably some acting, and yeah, if she wanted to do AEW, she could work AEW once a week. And everyone's like, they can't book women in AEW. She doesn't care.
It's a side gig, man. Why would she care?
Get paid, stay on TV, increase your OnlyFans. And now all of a sudden, the people who hated you 3 weeks ago, 3 months ago, now they love you.
True, absolutely. And she doesn't seem bothered by it either that she's been released. She doesn't care.
Apparently she was given a choice and she made it. And I think we talked about this. I can't remember who I talked about, but Mattel had a lot to do with this. Mattel told WWE this is a bridge too far, and WWE. I think WWE was really struggling with it, but then when Mattel got involved, it was like they felt like they had no choice, and in fact, they probably had no choice. But they did give her the choice, and she made it, and she's open to change it. So, but on Sasha, I'm just going to stick with. Don't believe what what you read. Just because Fightful said it doesn't make it so. I mean, they have a pretty good track record, but that in wrestling, that pretty good record means probably somewhere between 65 and 70%, right? It still means, 30 to 35% wrong.
True, absolutely true. And just quietly, I watched that stupid Vince documentary, dude.
Me too.
First of all, it's nothing I didn't know about. It's pretty much a rinse and repeat of all the shit we've seen about him for all these years. I don't even know what was the point of wasting money.
Well, half the time they had on the screen what Dark Side of the Ring episode we were watching.
Oh,
so
true.
if you watch Dark Side of the Ring, I mean that literally was 50% of the content was footage from Dark Side of the Ring, as well as audio from it, and some of it was just discussing the same.
I thought I was going to learn something new. Oh, the only thing I didn't know was the Evil Knievel, how he done the pay-per-view thing, whatever it was for him.
I knew
That's
that,
the only
but
thing I didn't know.
I had forgotten it. So yeah, and I had forgotten that the McMahons filed personal bankruptcy like in 1977 or something.
I kind of knew that. And what Kevin Nash said about Vince McMahon getting first dibs on WCW, I don't know if you heard about that. I've been saying for fucking years why he had first dibs at WCW and why he got it so cheap. It has all to do with previous stuff that was going on between Turner and Vince, but no one believed me. So thank you, Kevin Nash.
But why he got it so cheap is because he bought it at a bankruptcy court. And why they accepted his
but Bischoff made a higher offer, for example, though.
I understand, but part of the reason is that Vince McMahon had been running successful wrestling operations, and his family had for decades. So they thought that there was a reasonable chance that talent would be contracted, and some of the deals would be honored, and intellectual property and things like that. There'd be a better chance for some people to get whole or to be harmed less. Eric Bischoff was very much a risk. He had no individual wealth. So I mean, that's part of the reason.
Well, we can get into that on another show.
And Vince had better lawyers also. I mean, Eric Bischoff.
That's true.
I mean, yeah.
How much? Speaking of lawyers, how much has McDevitt friggin' aged? Damn.
Well, I mean, he's probably Vince's age. He's probably 77 years old.
Man, I don't remember him looking so old until I watched that documentary. But before we get into AEW, there's one more thing I wanted to ask you. Did you catch the Teddy Hart documentary on Peacock?
Oh, yeah. I saw that like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Right. I caught it last week. And do you think he killed his estranged girlfriend, whatever you want to call her?
Yes.
I actually think he hasn't. He didn't. But he's at fault for just pure neglect.
I think he killed her, and I think he's tried to kill others. Really? And I'm not sure he intended to kill her. I think maybe he was just doing his normal thing where he's choking someone out as part of training them.
I don't want to laugh, but yeah.
And, either choke too hard or they move the wrong way or whatever, whatever.
I think he bailed on her, man. Was it Sally Fiddler, whatever her name was? But I think he bailed
Fiddler.
on her. Oh, Samantha Fiddler, that's it. And he left her in Florida, didn't know anyone. I mean, there's kind of evidence showing that, but I mean, then why wouldn't the cops?
That's his story. Is how he left her. I mean, but no.
No. It's her story because there's evidence. No, she was on her own. She was working at a strip club at one point without him being around.
Well, then how's she on her own?
Well, she had to make friends basically on the spot, and she doesn't know who to trust and stuff like that.
Oh my God! The easiest thing in the world is for a stripper to get a sugar daddy. Stop it.
Also, they can be easily endangered too, dude. I mean,
it depends on the strip club. I mean, but if
we're not talking about Vegas here or anything like that. You're not talking about high end.
How do you know what we're talking about? Where were they in? Were they in Orlando? I mean,
nah, they were in Melbourne, Florida, I think. As a matter of fact.
So if they were in a decent strip club, listen, what does Florida have? It's got pythons, alligators, and a lot of retirees, which means a lot of widows
and a lot of New Yorkers too.
So yeah, No, being in a strip club, she could have, that could have been her salvation as well as her damnation. No, listen. I think the most obvious, answer is usually the right one. You have an insane person who's violent with him, who's been in jail about 42,000 times, oftentimes for violence.
Daddy always bailing him out, literally.
Right. And he has the timeline wrong, even though he tells you how perfect his memory is.
He's off his face, dude.
Yeah, he's right. Well, he's off his face, but he's also like, he's off his face. So why believe anything he says? Listen, you ask me if I think so. I think so. Do I know so? No, of course not.
I think I need to dust off the other side of the ring that we were meant to do a few years ago now. Me and Chris did do some pilots, never released them. But, maybe we should get into that again because it'd be good to talk about that in depth. But anyway, Jeff, let's finally get into AEW Dynamite. We're coming from Dallas, Texas, and it's from the Corwell Center in Garland, Dallas, Texas. But we start off with the Death Triangle in Park. Penta, El Zero Miedo, and Rey Fenix versus the Elite in Kenny Omega, Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson in the Best of 7 series match trios match for the Trios Championship.
They're so smart. They're like, our ratings stink, do they? Not if you put us right after the Big Bang Theory. We're gonna look like gold on the Big Winter is Coming show. But guaranteed to not be ratings losers.
The Big Bang Theory is done though, isn't it? It's just reruns now, right?
The reruns get over 1 million people watching them.
You're kidding.
Nope.
Well, it's a good show. It was a good show anyway at one stage, but
sure, but it's still reruns. You're exactly right. But the lead-in, I mean, like the Big Bang Theory routinely gets like 1.5 million people watching that 7:30 to 8 o'clock rerun on that network. It's the greatest lead-in they've ever had, and that quarter is always the highest quarter by far. So they're the politicals, the safest people in the company still feel insecure, and they don't want to have any. They hate that whenever they're on, the ratings, the viewership goes down. Whatever quarter it is, that's where there's a drop, unless there's a women's match, and that drops further usually. So they're right there at the top of it, and they'll have the highest quarter and go yippee-ki-yay for us. But I'm sorry, go on with your match summary.
No, I was going to say that the Elite came out to, like, they were rock stars, dude. They got a mega pop when they came out. Everyone seemed excited. Heck, there was even women in the crowd marking out like they've never seen them in real life before. Like, oh my God, Mm-hmm. But, I mean, they looked like stars in this match. Heck, this match was great anyway. I mean, it wasn't as good as their previous matches, I felt. But it told the story this time. Nick Jackson, for once, actually the Jacksons, for once, actually did a bit of psychology in the ring and actually told the friggin' story. And that's
They've tried before. They just have trouble sticking to the script.
Oh, maybe they've got ADD or something. Who knows? But like it's rare though, dude. I hardly ever see that from them, and I'm glad I did this time. And I just want to point out,
I will give them credit. They're trying to do something different every match. They know what everyone is saying. They know that all their matches sort of look the same, and in this proximity, so they're trying to tell a different story every single time, even though they're still doing sort of variations of the same thing, including Phoenix sort of being reluctant or outright unhappy about the timekeeper hammer use. But this was good. Nick got injured. He comes back out like Willis Reed or Cody, and he's remembering to limp some of the time, most of the time, but he is sticking to a ground game. And then what is that? Penta put him in like a ankle lock and then holds up his leg, or no, Phoenix puts him into an ankle lock and holds up
after the hammer incident.
No, he's doing it first, and he's like holding the leg, and I don't think that he's holding it.
Oh yeah, he was holding the leg mid sort of insecurity or something, like he's about to do an insecurity.
But Penta walks over and hits it right there.
And then gets him into a leg breaker of some sort, and that was it.
And then he taps out. So, but Nick looks in really bad shape. I mean, he looks like he like this whole time off, he didn't exercise a bit.
I know what you're saying, but as in terms of in-ring ability, he looks better than ever right now, though.
Yeah, I mean, the Bucks seem to be immune to this. Whatever they look like on the outside has nothing to do with how they go in the ring, which it's both good or bad.
Nick is a much better worker than Matt Jackson is by a mile, really. Like, I feel like if Nick wants to turn it up, he can, and he takes it to a whole different level compared to his brother. But his brother's more grounded these days. Maybe it's an age thing. They are almost not 10 years apart, but about 6-7 years apart.
They're 4 years apart. One of them's turning 35 this year. One of them's turning 32.
One's 36, I'm pretty sure, and the other one's freshly 30. Let me just see. Matt Jackson. Just out of curiosity. But anyway, why did I do that fucking for? The Elite. Excuse me.
Why don't you take over the show? I'll check their ages.
All right, go for it. You tell me.
I will.
Damn it. Sorry. Excuse me. Fucking hell. Anyway, we got some comments in the chat while you're looking at that. Christopher Winland says in the chat, Ricky Starks and JD McDonough should form a tag team called Minecraft Avatar.
Matt is 37.
Matt is 37. Shit, he's even older than I thought. And what's Nick, 32?
I'm putting that up there now. Nick's 33. Yeah, they're 4 years apart.
Okay. At one stage, because I always remember Nick being in his 20s at one stage for a long time compared to Matt. But anyway, that was back then. Yeah.
He was in his 20s 10 whole years.
True. I wish I was back in my 20s, damn it. Anyway, as I was saying, Chris Winland in the chat says, Ricky Starks and JD McDonough should form a tag team called the Minecraft Avatars. MJF looked bigger than Ricky aside from head circumference, and that's not a good thing. You're right. Actually, I noticed that MJF is looking way more jacked than usual these days, as a champion should. You know what I mean? I mean, he's not big enough, though, but he's getting there. Right.
He was working on that his whole time off. He knew when he was coming back, he wanted to look bigger. He knew that people weren't going to take him seriously as a champion, or critics would say he's not big enough. He's not. He worked on getting his abs and getting. Yeah, he's definitely put the work in. Yeah, I've been noticing that. I've said it a few times, but yeah, throw in Tyler Bate there, and you got the. You can just call them the bobbleheads.
Oh God! Heck, even Trent Seven, and then you really got a whole game.
No, the Trent Seven's too fat. It's just his head is in proportion to his fat body. Trent Seven is the new Chris Hero.
Anyway, he also says in the chat, "Hey Jimmy, how would someone find your DJ music if available? Your podcast, Rockman, would love to indulge you."
That's his alter ego.
No, I'll give you the links actually after the show. I'll put them in the description. I've got SoundCloud and Mixcloud and stuff like that. But anyway, would love to indulge in more of your offerings. And Jeff, I'll be digging into your Outside Wrestling podcast ASAP. Sounds interesting. Thanks for all you guys do, man. No, thank you, Chris, for always being absolutely. You should check it out, which is called Garden of Doom, which is right here on the PWC Network, and also Garden Views, which is kind of similar but not really. But he's, I don't know, you got to check it out.
Not really. I have trouble describing them too.
Yeah.
You just have to trust me. You just have to trust me that I'm going to find that I'm talking about something that I'm interested in, and hopefully it's something that you're interested in too, or should be.
That's it, absolutely. And like I said, Chris, thank you for always being there, always listening to us. Please, man, just spread the word. That will really do us, wonders.
I always tell people out there, you don't have to like me. You just have to trust me with the content.
Well, that's it. It's not exactly, man. It shouldn't matter about if you like the person or not. It matters when facts are facts. You know what I'm saying?
I just think I do have an interesting variety on that show, and an interesting variety of people from different countries. A lot of podcasters. I post on my Facebook today, sort of.
If you know anything about the paranormal, or even in politics, he's pretty much got the who's who on his shows, man. And I truly mean that.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, not bad for an amateur with no booking staff or really booking experience.
And take it from me, because I've been into this stuff for many, many years, and I can tell you firsthand, he's got literally the who's who in those fields. So check him out. Anyway, where were we? We're talking about
I think we were sort of just finishing up with the match itself, and we were going to get into how will babyfaces make a stipulation which doesn't help them at all and is stupid and makes no sense? Of course they will.
So now we're going to get the mighty comeback. We're going to get, basically, you know what I'm actually sort of pissed off about? This would have been a perfect opportunity for Kenny to bring back his brooms, the broomsticks. If only they clean sweeped him, he could have gone like this as the cleaner, like with his broom. But no, we might get a sweep from now on, though. That's what's going to happen,
You might
Jeff.
see that in 3 matches
I think we will.
When he comes out, he's going to come out with the broom. That'll be perfect. It's a good
100%.
idea.
100%. If they don't do that, they've so dropped the ball.
They should come out with the. Remember when he had the 2 girls with the brooms?
I love that.
Dancing like a 1980s video game arcade, like dancing girls. And they would do like 4 moves because that's all you could do in like Atari 2600.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was great. It was brilliant. I love it.
It was great.
I love Kenny Hill.
Heel Kenny's so obnoxious and full of himself. I kind of like it too. Yeah, no, for real. I agree because I think he really is. I mean, I'm sure he's a good guy, but I think a part of him has got a big ego in terms of how he sees himself in the landscape of professional wrestling.
Yeah, I think he probably is a good guy. I also think he's probably very confused, and I think he's a little bit awkward. And I'm sure that
there's that slight awkwardness, definitely.
I'm sure he and the Bucks have a lot of. I'm sure their friendship is genuine. They love each other, but I'm not sure that they're the best friends for him. However, you can't really argue with the path they've taken and where they are now.
Well, he definitely trusts them more than a lot of the other guys. Put it that way, man.
Well, you gotta listen. Like every clique, people outside the clique usually don't like the people inside the clique, but people inside the clique typically do pretty well.
Yeah, Kenny's a weird cat, though. Like you said, man, he's got that awkwardness about him, like a bit of a social awkwardness about him. But at the same time, he's very sociable, too.
He's got that Brian Pillman hair, but not Brian Pillman Jr. Flying Brian Pillman from 1994.
Did you see the busted open incident between Bully Ray and Flying Brian Jr.?
I have never once seen or heard busted open.
Really?
Steve mentions it every week, and I'm like, Steve, or every 2 weeks now. I'm like, Steve, why don't you just play Busted Open and say it's Hammerlock Hangover since you love it so much?
Put it this way, I haven't listened to Busted Open radio in probably 2 years.
Well, what happened? Right? Do tell. I think Bully Ray is a jerk of a guy, but actually I think he's got.
Well, that's what he said
for wrestling.
That's basically what he said. He called Bully Ray a jerk on Twitter.
But Brian Pillman is an empty-headed idiot, but probably a nice kid.
I don't know, man. The way he treated his mother just before she died, yeah.
Well, even after,
I didn't like that.
Remember those pictures? Remember when I got dragged on Twitter? He'd put like a pin-up like porn picture of her as a tribute. I mean, come on, people.
I forgot all about that.
That's not But what are you talking about? You put
I know.
It up, like,
I
every
spammed
show
that
for a
shit
year.
too. It's true.
Maybe we should do it again. Whenever we do in memoriam for something, you should do that. You know what you don't forget to do? Your I'm a Man song.
That's because every motherfucker wants to be a man these days. Like they're all arguing over.
We're going to get to that in a little bit. We're going to get to that.
I'm a man.
We're going to get to that a little bit. A lot of little bitches out there too.
That's the problem. That's why you're always hearing "Here's a man." I've even remixed the damn song because everyone wants to be a.
There's a lot of songs called "I'm the Man." You could maybe mix it up a little bit.
What do you want me to do? Something 80s?
Well, there's the Killers that I'm the Man. There's Anthrax did I'm the Man. I mean, those are just 2 I can think off the top of my head.
I know, but the regal one because it's
I'm
wrestling.
a man and I am and I can't live without you. I think that's like the Zombies and the Yardbirds, something like that. Cream, one of those bands, one of those 60s groups.
Well, they're all good songs, but you know what? I'll try to remix it with some sort of heavy metal. With the regal, here's a man. We'll see.
Listen, I know you're going to remix it to Bow Wow or Fabulous, so
I should. I have probably, okay. But anyway,
excellent.
This is what happened on the Twitter. I think earlier today. As a matter of fact, this all happened today.
The
Twitter.
You see, Elon is banning the accounts of like all like journalists.
Really?
Like, sort of liberal. I mean, it's not funny. It's a little scary. It's sort of what they were predicting, but it's a little ironic because they were all happy when Twitter was banning all the accounts of the people who are on right wing. I know they're saying that they were more dangerous. I happen to agree, but Listen, you were saying it's private property. They can do whatever they want then. It's not censorship. It's private property. You were all about private property rights then. Well, it's different. I mean, then go somewhere else. Everyone says they're going to go somewhere else. Go somewhere else.
Twitter is the most, what's the word? Like, is the most hypocritical thing to use. Like, when I say hypocritical, the company itself is hypocritical. They say they don't want this, that, but if you want certain things, like, you can find porn on there and they don't give a shit. You can find murders on there.
They want all they want is use in advertising. They want it to make a profit, and Elon needs. Listen, all I can tell you is that
it's a contradiction, Jeff.
All I can tell you at some point, all people thought of they actually consider Twitter part of the media. No, it's social media. It's like Facebook or Instagram. This is not where you should be getting your news. And journalists, this is not where you should be breaking your news or be reporting things or whatever. It's social media. It's like you forgot the word social. It's there for social purposes. It's for entertainment and communication purposes only, not for news.
And networking. It's great for networking, really. I mean,
yeah.
Let's be honest. That's what it is. It's social networking, like you said. But anyway, this is what happened on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
And it all started. I know. See how we just segued like that? Like we forgot all about it. Anyway, basically, Brian Pillman Jr. wrote on Twitter to Bully Ray. He says, "I think you're an asshole," right? For whatever reason. And then Bully Ray replies and says, "Thanks, Brian. I think you're a pompous, know-it-all young boy living off his dad's mid-card name who needs to learn to keep his fucking mouth shut and listen a lot more and only gets a pop in Cincinnati. Other than that, keep up the good work," with a thumbs up emoji.
I have no problem with anything Bully Ray said except mid-card, even though it's partly true, but it was unnecessary.
He's very unnecessary about his daddy, but let's be real, he was mid-card up until, if he stayed alive maybe 1 or 2 more years and his ankle wasn't so fucked up, he could have possibly been elevated in the main event.
I mean, Bully Ray was mid-card also, except in TNA, and now occasionally when he's on nostalgia cards like Impact and NWA or GCW, but I mean, the Dudley Boys were an over as hell tag team, but tag teams are rarely the top card. I mean, so it's definitionally mid card. Anyway, aside from the word mid card, which I think is unnecessary, whether it's accurate or not, the rest of it is 100% accurate. The only thing that he forgot to say is that Brian doesn't listen enough, because he might be listening as well as possible. He just can't understand anything because he doesn't have a brain. So it's not possible for him to listen and learn.
Maybe. Because I'm starting to hear a lot of shit now about him, Jeff. Like, he doesn't seem as well liked as, you'd think.
Okay. I don't think he's well liked at all. By the way, there is an expression in wrestling, and I have heard it many times, and I did not make it up. And people said, this is what they say, they go, Brian Pillman Jr. is the stupidest person in wrestling, and I know Flip Gordon.
Wow. I guess there is some truth to it. But see, Flip Gordon's the lovable dumb cunt. Do you know what I
mean? Well, maybe. But do
you know what I mean? Like,
you'd love Flip Gordon. You and Dee would love Flip Gordon because he's all into the conspiracy.
What do you mean? I've been a Flip Gordon fan for years now, Jeff.
I'm telling you why, not because of his wrestling.
Oh, well, he's a cool dude, man. I've met him once. He's actually a cool dude. But
really?
He just, I mean, he's a former Marine too, Jeff.
Wow.
I think he even went to Iraq or even Afghanistan. He's actually, done his duty. But anyway, Brian Pillman's just a dumb kid. It is what it is. Mm-hmm. Anyway, let's move on though. Let's get back into Dynamite. As I said, Death Triangle win by submission with a knee bar from Ray Phoenix on Nick Jackson, bringing the series to 3-1 in their favor. Post-match, Kenny Omega gets on the mic. He says there's going to be enough talking on this show, but he's got a message for Death Triangle, and he wants them to hear it. A 3-1 deficit is hard to come back from, but they keep using the hammer, and Kenny wants to make it legal, and not just hammers, but all weapons. No disqualification, to be clear. And that's that, as we get a good night and bang
All right. Don't you hope the Pac comes in with that machine gun that Jesse Ventura had in Predator? Like and just shreds
when
them.
he's shooting before like he dies, pretty much he's like, "Yeah, motherfucker," you know.
Yeah.
He's shooting at
Absolutely.
like just nothing.
I forgot what they call those things, but it's basically like, a giant Gatling gun.
Yeah, a Tommy gun. Oh no.
No, Tommy gun is like the old timey machine guns.
Right. That's true. Well, anyway, I'm not even going to try to think of what they call it, but I know what you're talking about.
It's not important right now.
Right. Anyway, we get Maxwell Jacob Freeman next. He's interviewed backstage. He says Ricky Starks finally had a good turn on the mic, and everybody is saying it was a star-making performance. But he was a star from day one. 1,000 hits and no misses. People claim Richard made himself a star, but in truth, Max did it for him because he's a star-maker, Jeff. And you're welcome for the rub, Rick. He mocks Starks for talking about growing up poor and living out of a car and eating out of a dumpster with raccoons. And he says he doesn't care. And none of that matters. The only thing that matters is if you're AEW World Champion. The simpletons at home relate to Starks because their lives suck. But they don't fix it. They just moan and complain. Ricky says he had it easy growing up, and he's right. MJF says he was born rich and attractive and better than you, and he won't apologize for it. Everyone is rooting for Ricky Starks to win the big one in his home state, and that's pressure. And tonight, we'll find out what happens when pressure is applied to the pebble. Will he turn into a diamond everyone claims him to be? Or will he turn into dust and poof? I mean, we'll find
Good job,
out.
son. Good promo, but you've used a lot of these lines before. It sort of meandered a little bit. Like I said, MJF is sort of starting to run out of material at exactly the wrong time.
Oh, relax. I think you're jumping a bit too far.
Listen, Jimmy, this is one of the things I do. I see things before I'm the crest of the wave. I see things before the rest of the people feel them.
I know what you're saying, right? But I think it's too early for us just to say that yet.
I've been saying it for several weeks now. He's starting to repeat himself a lot. He's got nothing new. And even the wrestlers are making fun of say, okay, make fun of the town, make fun of the people. They're poor, you're rich. The sports team sucks. That's true too.
That's what he does. It's cheap heat, literally. We can all do that.
That's what he does. But he needs some new material. But it was okay. It just again, a lot of times when I complain about the promos, it's just because they're like 20 or 30% too long, and this was 20 or 30% too long.
It kind of was. That's true. Anyway, we come back from commercial, and the Acclaimed make their entrance, but Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt sent them singing. Jeff Jarrett attacked them from behind and laid them and daddy ass out. Ain't he great, Jeff?
This he being Vince McMahon, because this is Vince booking. You want a title match, you attack someone from behind. But this was silly, but listen,
I liked it.
It was entertaining enough.
Liked it, yeah.
And by the way, I loved Castor's song. They gave him enough time to do the songs. He threw in a Brittany Griner and an Elon Musk, suspended accounts line. So time what we were talking about before to wrestling, just by coincidence, just quietly.
Just quietly.
But yeah, this segment was fine. Sanjay Dutt has forgotten how to throw a working punch and a working kick. I mean, it would have been better if Jay Lethal or anyone had been the one that was beating up Bowens or Castor. I'm not sure who was with it. I think it was Castor that Sanjay Dutt beat up. I mean I'm nitpicking here. That's what I do. The segment was fine. It's just, but this is the epitome of WWE booking for before this year's WrestleMania, before Triple H, like Vince booking for like the last 5 years. Want a title match? You attack the champions from behind. Yeah,
that's it. It's wrestling 101. It's a typical heel move. Well, anyway, as Daddy Ass gets laid out in the ring, Custer fighting back with right hands, but he eventually gets overwhelmed and eats an El Kabong. As Double J asks if they have the Acclaimed's attention now and tells them to scissor this, slap nuts. I love that. That was a great line. As we get a recap of Claudio Castagnoli winning his Ring of Honor World Championship at Final Battle. I kind of like this segment. I'm liking Jeff Jarrett. I don't know why.
Oh, I thought we were off of that. Yeah, I was rolling my eyes about the Claudio Castagnoli recap.
Right, well, there's no point of talking that. I'm just saying, I like Jeff Jarrett, I'll say it now. I used to hate his guts. But, ain't he great? Ha ha!
Lots of things get better with age.
True. And he's kind of one of those guys that looks looking great. He's like a fine wine. Anywho, speaking of fine wine, or is it rotted wine, I'm not sure, but it's Chris Jericho. He's being interviewed backstage with the Jericho Appreciation Society in tow. He claims that the giant swing is barbaric and it should be banned, and he's going to take his frustrations out on some jobber to tune up for his inevitable rematch against Claudio. Jericho interrupts Daniel Garcia being asked about the Pure Championship and tells him he just needs a little more seasoning. This made me laugh, I'm not going to lie. And he should shadow his elder. And you would have thought he was talking about himself, but no, he's talking about his elder in Sammy Guevara, and learn a thing or two from him as Sammy cuts a promo on Jon Moxley, who he has a match against on Friday night. And did I mention that Jake Hager loves his hat?
That's the best part. Okay, let me pick some nits in this case. They're not exactly nits. The JS versus the BCC, that's a little bit of nitpicking, but not really. I mean, this thing is a fucking year already, this feud. But this thing with Daniel Garcia, we've already seen this story with Daniel Garcia in this group. We just saw it. He just chose the Jericho Appreciation Society over the BCC. We just frickin' saw just a few weeks ago. And you know what else we just saw? Twice in the last couple of years, Sammy Guevara being the odd man out and maybe being on the outs with one of the Jericho feuds. So Sammy Guevara has played the role of Daniel Garcia twice doing this story. And we've also seen the accountability buddy with Shawn Spears and Wardlow just a year and a half ago. I mean, if that long ago. Shawn Spears, where is he? What? Who cares? So it's like... these things keep getting recycled, but they're getting recycled with the same people. They're just sort of reversing roles a little bit. I don't know. So I didn't like that part. I'm okay with Jericho leaning into the spin. Everyone realizes that was ridiculous to tap out. Anyone who's honest knows that was a stupid move. But now he's so discombobulated, and all of his organs are all over the place, and so of course he wants to take it on Jobber. Yeah, he said Jobber before, he got criticized for it. I don't even care anymore. Once that genie's out, about a big deal. But should he say it? No, he shouldn't say Jobber. He can say loser. He can say palooka. He can say jabroni. But Jobber, that's you shouldn't be saying that. Anyway,
hey, we got Jobber chance, Jeff, which I've never heard in my life in professional wrestling, so that was something. But I just wanted to touch on quickly before you continue. Did you know Daniel Garcia was in not Street Fighter, I was going to say Kickboxer back in the day? Remember that movie?
I suppose maybe. Was that the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie?
That's right here, dude. Did you not see who he was channeling? Jean-Claude Van Damme from Kickboxer. He was wearing the same damn clothes, dude.
Oh, I see. It complete with the brackets there up.
Maybe not the brackets, but yeah, he was wearing the same colored pants, the same colored singlet. Heck, he was Jean-Claude Van Garcia.
Jean-Claude Van Damme's charisma and build.
If only. But he doesn't and never will. But that's the first thing that came to mind. I was looking at him thinking, why am I thinking of Jean-Claude Van Damme? And what do you know?
I mean, isn't Ricky Starks broke his neck? Daniel Garcia broke their neck. How many people broke their neck? And by the way, is Sammy Guevara older than Daniel Garcia? And
I don't think so.
Sammy's 29. How old is Garcia? He's I think he's younger. I think he's probably like 24.
Let's see. He looks young there, to be fair. So let's see. Daniel.
I remember
Garcia.
we checked Guevara. We were both surprised that he was almost 30.
If he's not in his 30s already, he probably was in his 30s, and we'll.
No, I think he was 29 when we checked, and that was months ago. Is it possible he's turned 30 since? Yes, but I haven't seen a happy birthday Sammy Guevara from AEW, and they're pretty good about that.
Dude, do me a favor. This is weird. I cannot get his date of birth, not even on his Wikipedia page. That's strange.
All right, I'll take care of it.
why? But it should be there, man. Like, it should come up. Should it not? Like, it should be there. For whatever reason, they're kayfabing us. I mean, that's strange. But if you can find out, please let us know, because if I have to literally go deep just to find his age, it's kind of weird. Tell me if you get any luck. But
I will tell you.
As we're talking about that, I kind of like the little. I mean, it sounds funny, like, you know, Sammy Guevara being his elder, which is kind of hilarious to me.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, like you said, I guess Garcia is going to get kicked to the curb, or the other way around. Just get rid of this kid already, man. He's boring. He thinks he's all that. I mean, he looks more like a boxer than anything else, if you know what I'm saying.
Right.
Fuck, I need to sneeze.
He's 24.
Wow, is he that young? No way.
Yeah, September 17th, 1998.
Holy shit, in 98, I was in the 10th grade. What the hell?
Damn, I was in my second year of marriage.
Ha ha, you were. You old motherfucker. Nah. Anyway.
I'm an old motherfucker, sure.
Well, let's not go there. But, yeah, that's odd. I didn't think he was that young, because he's been around in the business for a few years now, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting. Well, anyway, thanks for that information. Let's move on though to the next matchup. It is Brian Cage versus Jungle Boy Jack Perry. We all knew what was going to happen here. Even though at least they tried. Look, no matter, I don't care what you do. You cannot make fucking Brian Cage. You can't save him from losing to freaking Jungle Boy, no matter what you try to protect, if you want to call it protecting, Brian Cage. Because you just cannot protect such a massive guy losing to a freaking surfboard, dude.
No, you can't. And why you give a guy a title Saturday on a Ring of Honor just to have him lose when you have a million people on your roster? So if you want Jungle Boy to be doing this giant killer thing, you got Lance Archer, you know, you got the Butcher, you have, you know, I'm sure I'm forgetting Nick Camarado. I know he was in a segment later. But there are big guys there who are disposable. You could have brought in Eric Rowan again if you wanted. There's plenty of big people out there in the world, and yeah, you didn't need to do this to Brian Cage. Not that Brian Cage is anything special or worth much. It just diminishes the title he just won, and it sort of diminishes Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor, right? It makes him look second rate. Like literally, they're supposed to be the shit fucking, you know, fed basically.
Right. But nobody's going to remember Brian Cage looking. But let's face it, that anyone who was invested in Brian Cage gave up on him 2 years ago.
But I'm one of them.
Right, but then you had the whole thing with Stokely talking, and then Lee Moriarty doing this stupid thing, and then you know, Big Bill, which is a dumb name, you know, looking like he's forgotten how to work, and then Hook comes out, so you're going to have the minis, the midget team, and all three of the guys make case. You have Big Bill, who's a 7-foot guy, he looks like he's, you know, the Colossus of Rhodes, and they're bowing out, you know, because of Hook. Because of Hook, there's three of them, and Hook. I mean, Cage isn't there to help him. He's gone. Poof. He did his ninja disappearing act.
Ninja magic.
And Jungle Boy. I mean, talking about a guy who's got no material. At least he's learned to emote. But little bitch, get out here, the littlest bitch of them all. Little bitch, come on.
The only little bitch I was seeing was him actually funny enough. Chris Winland in the chat says, why is Wardlow obsessed with the TNT title and not MJF and the World Championship? Don't go there. We've already tried to figure that one out a long time ago. But he continues, why is Big Will chasing Jungle Boy? Does he want to get buried alongside Lucha fucking Saurus? Another monster who needs a reboot. Where the fuck is Miro, man? How does his company push the midgets while jobbing out the monsters? Bizarro Elite Wrestling. Dude, we've been saying this for years. Exactly what you just said, we've been saying from our very first episode all the way till now. Well, what's your quote? Which one?
AEW has big men only to make little men look good.
you can't argue that shit. I mean, as crazy and ridiculous as that sounds, prove us otherwise. I mean, tell us why we're wrong in saying that.
They desperately want to get Jungle Boy over. Don't know why. They've succeeded in getting
They really
Darby
have.
over. They've gotten MJF over. They've gotten a bunch of their young people over. You know, they've done a good job. They can wait for it to get a little bit more out. People like his song, so they've got it. So this whole giant killer thing, though, it just feels and looks silly. But I don't know. These are the wrestling fans that you know, they like the wrestlers that they're relatable to. So they like to think that if they look like me, so if they can beat up the 6'5" or 7 foot, you know, muscle guy, so can I in my imagination.
Yeah. And you know what? We need a midget killer, Jeff. That's how you bring Miro back in. Literally, like, have his god tell him to kill anything below his height.
Right.
Just absolutely run him over. He'd be like, God
has bequested this planet to me to take care of lesser beings. And by lesser beings, I mean men who are under 200 pounds.
Tell me that wouldn't be all right, man. Like,
well, I mean,
seriously.
It
writes itself.
It's for us.
It writes itself. And yes, Chris.
Especially if we said, Anatolia found the grease.
No, don't go there.
True.
But the answer is always penis, Chris. That's true.
Absolutely right.
Cocks on toast, man. I suggest you don't try that. Anyway, yeah, like I said, Chris, we've been puzzled.
Bag of dicks.
A bag of dicks, indeed.
Yeah.
Anyway, like Jeff says, like Chris said in the chat, the answer is always penis. So don't even try to figure out what is going on in TK's head, because clearly, penis or pussy ain't one of them. Could he be just the type of guy that doesn't want to fuck anything?
Tony? Oh,
yeah. Like, he's not into guys, not into women. He just fucks himself.
I mean, I think he likes seeing little people beat up big people, and he whacks off to it.
I don't want to know.
Well, you asked.
Well,
him.
I didn't ask you to go into that.
And you asked a question, and the answer was penis, appropriately.
We got to abbreviate the penis word somehow. I don't know. Well, no. Anyway, let's not try to figure that out right now. So,
Little Jimmy.
Let's move on. But anyway, as we're saying, big dopey guy Brian Cage. So, anyway, Jeff, come on, man. We've got a show to do. We've got a mission. We've gone over an hour, and we're still not even through it. So anyway, Jungle Boy ends up winning by pinfall with an O'Connor roll.
Hernandez was talking about his week. You wouldn't complain.
Big Ray Hernandez can need a whoops. Love you, Big Ray. Love you, Ray. No, but anyway, none of that shit. Actually, speaking of that, shout outs to the Big Roo, who was on Viceland about talking about Vince, you know, since we are part of channelattitude.com.
That's true. I thought you were going to shout out Big Ray and the Vet for having me on Next Level.
Dude, I'm meant to shout out so many people, I can't even keep up. But now that you reminded me...
You can't find it in your day to shout me out.
I always shout you out. What are you talking about?
Not now. I was on that show. Jealous? Are you a little jealous?
I didn't know. Yeah, I'm jealous, Jeff. I've been on all their shows, Jeff. I mean, shit, what would I be jealous of? Well, Jeff, I got you on that damn show. You can ask them.
They're better than you, better looking than you, better dancer than you.
Well, that's all right. That's cool. But you know what I mean? But hey, I did vouch for you, as a matter of fact, as I always do. I mean, shit, everywhere I've gone, I've taken you with me, Jeff. Except for that. But anyway, yeah, you know, Jeff, I mean, I'm always down to bring people with me, man. I like fucking sharing the fun than sharing none. But anyway, whatever you want to call it. It's not fun. It's not fun now, Jeff. Are you saying that their show is not fun?
Oh, it's fun. Yeah, we are clap and stomp baby faces. We just like to have fun.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, not girls, but boys. Just quietly. Anyway, let's move on to the post-match.
What's the difference between boys and girls? Penis.
Yeah, penis. Anyway, post-match, Jack Perry gets on the mic and says he's beating Luchasaurus and Brian Cage, so he wants the biggest bitch of them all.
We covered this already.
Yeah, I know. You were saying it, but I never actually sort of said it. But anyway, the big bitch is Big Bill. And like you said before, as Stokely Hathaway enters and says Jungle Boy pisses him off, and he keeps it up, he's going to see two things. The bottom of Big Bill's boot and the back of Stokes' hand. Because he's a little hoe. Which is so dumb, but whatever. Jungle Boy then charges in. Lee Moriarty and Big Bill intervene and beat him down, while Stokely says they should have music playing. Rest in peace, New Jack, as Morrissey chokeslams Jack in the middle of the ring. And then, like you said, Hook is here to a standing ovation. And we get the mini-me's versus the big fucking dicks. So I'm looking forward to that. Oh yes, and the cat.
Right.
No, that's not. Yeah, it is a cat.
I just want to point out one more time that when the firm first came out, they all had a goal. The Gun Club was going after the AEW titles. They have not. They are still not.
They're trying.
No, they're going after FTR right now, who the only titles that they didn't have were the AEW ones. The only titles they don't have now are the other ones owned by the same owner that owns AEW. Lee Moriarty was focused on the pure title for Ring of Honor. Nope. Then we had Ethan Page, who was all about getting the World Championship. Sort of, he hasn't even been on TV for the last couple of weeks. And all W. Morrissey, who's now Big Bill, was interested in doing was doing whatever he wants and creating a lot of hell. And he really hasn't done much of that either. And he's running away from Hook. That's a hellraiser.
Big bitch. That's what he should be called now.
Goals. The firm has not made sense from day one, and it still doesn't make sense.
They're firm, but not firm hard, in my opinion. But anyway.
Exactly right.
We get Blackpool, speaking of fucking not firm enough, we get Blackpool Combat Club still missing Bryan Danielson, just quietly.
Also still missing Blackpool.
Yes, the guy that actually is named after, like pretty much the group is named after. This was the shittiest Moxley fucking promo. You'd have smashed Daniel Garcia's face in with his elbow. I couldn't tell, just quietly, Jeff. But anyway, as Claudio Castagnoli swung a grown man until he wanted to puke and tapped out of nausea, he kicked the shit out of Takeshita until he fell to the mat like a sack of potatoes. As Claudio says in 2023, you want to pick a fight, you think you're good, they're better. Wheeler says you want to fight, you got to be willing. I was cringing when he was talking at this point. You got to be willing to fight like you're dead. And John says Sammy Guevara is a gutsy kid, and he promises he will stomp his face into a bloody mess. Great, more blood. As he leaves him for dead.
And by the way, the BCC making a statement that together as a faction, as you pointed out, no Brian again. So this faction can't even be together for a segment where Brian was at the show. I guess the rest of them weren't actually there.
I don't know. Maybe there was meetings they had to attend. Oh, well, that's right. Daniel Bryan was caring for Mr. Blackpool himself. Shouldn't we just call him that from now on? Instead of William Regal, he's the name we won't speak of or mention while talking about AEW. He's the Blackpool man. Maybe he's
Blackpool Steven Reeve. Blackpool Steve.
Blackpool Steven. How's that?
Right.
Well, anyway, speaking of Blackpools and hanging yourself, it is Hangman Adam Page who Mox brings up. Mox always says you know where to find him and bring your little Dark Order bitches too. As commentary promised us, our House of Black return. I can't wait to get into that in a moment. But what did you think of this groovy promo by Mr. Moxley?
This was pretty meh. I mean, it was okay.
Pretty bad, actually, dude.
It was a little bad. I mean, listen, Claudio can't speak. Moxley usually can, but this was uninspired. And Wheeler Yuta can't and shouldn't speak, and especially when he did the lean over thing and his voice cracked at the same time. It's like he's going through puberty right in front. Yeah, you're right. This was bad. And it's weird because like this whole group, it's like, Yuta and Claudio so clearly faces, and Moxley's so clearly a tweener, and he's facing faces like Takeshita is positioned as face. Hangman Page obviously is positioned as a face. Now, usually
Bryan Danielson's a face suddenly.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing's weird, but I mean,
Bizarre land.
at least it wasn't too long, and I guess I don't know. I guess he explained why he's facing Sammy Guevara. I mean, it still doesn't make any sense. I just want these groups to never. I don't even want them to be in the same building at the same time.
Yeah, I agree, but we will still get it this Friday night on Rampage. Anyway, we come back from commercial though, as we get Shane Strickland video package, where he says he's ready to confront Keith Lee, and he has no friends or familia in the wrestling business, just affiliates. House of Black though make their entrance next and get in the ring with the Factory.
Let's stop at Strickland.
All right, fine. There wasn't that much to say, but
you got to ask me if there's anything to say.
Give me a tape. Go for it.
Not much to say. No, this was cool. I thought this was cool. This was a good segment. Swerve is cool. I like what he says. I like the way he says it.
Yeah, me too. He's very sneaky. That Swerve, sneaky Swerve.
Mm-hmm.
But I like it too, as long as we've got some clear end game, other than your typical. We're gonna have a face off. As the blow off, obviously.
I want them to stay as a team, even if they don't trust each other. I like them together.
But they keep winning and winning and winning, though. Like you gotta have them keep winning, right? Where they can't stand each other, but they keep on winning. Sort of like The Rock and Mick Foley at one stage.
From a practical standpoint, what are they going to do with them separately? This place is so crowded.
Right, and them two should be pretty happy because they're upper mid card. You know what I mean? They're always on television every week.
I mean, listen, when you break up a team in AEW, one of them fades into obscurity. Right now Starks is on high, and Hobbs is literally walking around listlessly, and we haven't even seen it. Exactly, you forgot about Hobbs. Exactly. And what's going to happen with Starks going forward? I mean, because as I said, we know he's not going to win. First of all, it's too soon, and MJF's already talking about Bryan. So sure enough, we get Bryan this week. Will Starks be able to keep the momentum? How? Who's he going after? Is he going to get in Bryan's way? That would make sense. But so who's he going to go after? I mean, is Ethan Page again? I mean, that worked out so well. They have nothing for Scorpio Sky. Why doesn't Scorpio Sky jump him? Say, you took my spot. I was you. Get out of my way, kid. I don't know. Whatever. I mean,
something. That's all that matters.
Point being is that if Swerve and Keith Lee have a feud, after the feud, only one of them is going to emerge better. The other one's going to fade into obscurity.
I agree, man. Chris also says in the chat, if Miro does not leave and go back to WWE in the not too distant future, he had better audition for more TV and movie roles, man. TikTok on his wrestling career, if they put him back on AEW TV, he's destined to job out to Kip Sabian and the new action guy who Jericho lost to, Action Andretti, whatever his name is, Andretti, like Mario Andretti, the former IndyCar driver, whatever. But anyway, yeah, you're right. He also says Enzo is floundering in MLW.
Wow.
Was there a fallout between him and Big Cass? Those guys are money as a duo, man. Enzo would be great as a mouthpiece in either AEW or WWE. His heat is cooled, so it's either company's loss. I agree, dude. I'm a big Enzo fan. I feel like Enzo and Big Bill need each other. Like, they sort of get each other over. Even though Big Bill's pretty useless, really, when you think about it.
They're a good team. They're a good act together. Enzo definitely has a load of personality, is a great talker, but they don't like each other. And the other thing about
Enzo... They have
Enzo
been friends, though, from years ago, but there was a falling out. Like, they actually go way back. I don't know if you know that.
Like, they tried to reform themselves in Ring of Honor, and it didn't work out. The Ring of Honor fans didn't like it, and they don't like each other. They don't really get along. And this is not a Big Bill thing, necessarily, because nobody likes Enzo. I mean, they literally threw him out of a bus once in WWE. They threw him out of the bus and had to find his own way. People don't like Enzo. He's rubs 98% of his coworkers the wrong way. It's just as simple as that. He was in a program with Casey Navarro. Where's Casey Navarro? He tried out for NXT. So
Jeez, man, it's a shame too because, like I said, I'm a huge fan too, Chris. I mean, I've always loved Enzo, and
You know who else is floundering in MLW? MLW is floundering in MLW.
true. That's also true. Fucking hell. Anyway, yeah, I just MLW won't be a thing like in a few more years' time, in my opinion. But anyway,
WWE is going to own them one way or another from the suit.
100%. Anyway, we get House of Black making an entrance and getting the ring with the Factory as Nick Comoroto gets in Julia Hart's face and she spits mist at him as House of Black proceed to take the Factory apart. Neither Malachi nor QT Marshall involved in the fray. Can I call the House of Black actually the House of wanting to go back?
Wow.
I mean, you know, the House of wanting back. That's what they should be called from now on. Because other than the big fella, we all know these guys don't want to be in that company.
Well, nitpicking, I thought that the lights went out too many times and for too long for not much effect. But I really enjoyed this segment. I thought it was great. Julia Hart used the mist. She identified the biggest threat. That's Nick Comoroto. Used the mist, took him out. We haven't seen her do that before. He was a non-factor. The House of Black, just Brody and Buddy, took out the rest of the factory. You know, and there were like 5 of them. And they left QT alone. Malachi was just sitting there in the corner watching it all unfold. And then when QT was left alone, the other 2 guys basically surrounded the ring, so he couldn't make an escape. His guys were all unconscious. Malachi gets up, and QT's like, all right, I'm ready to fight. And Malachi just gives him a black mass, and QT went down like a sack of potatoes. And
like a sack of potatoes.
This is how you treat the Factory. They are jobbers. House of Black, listen, it's no great shakes to beat the Factory, but this was a complete demolition. 2 of them took out, 4. Julia Hart even got involved in. So I like this. No complaints of this. I like this segment, quite a bit. Again, the only complaint is the lights went out 3 times, and each time was too long. Once would have been enough.
Well, it's true, but and that's the sad part, Jeff. I like this segment too. I just find it interesting that 2 out of the 3 don't really want to be part of this company.
They don't. They didn't, but they are. And listen, everything in wrestling is fluid. So, we'll see. Yeah, listen, I'm just going to review this show. We talked about what Buddy Matthews said, but maybe that's the way he negotiates.
Maybe he's a bit of a. The one thing I've noticed about Buddy Matthews, whatever you want to call him, he kind of he's pretty staunched, man. Like, he doesn't give a shit like what people think, and he's going to say what he wants to say publicly, and doesn't think of the repercussions.
Well, I don't think a lot of the wrestlers have been doing this. I mean, Randy Orton was making jokes about him going to AEW when he was renegotiating his contract. This is the thing they do now, and this is one of the good things about having another, major league or at least big budget wrestling promotion out there is that you have leverage. Now, pulling out Impact is weird, but I guess he didn't want to say WWE because that might be a contract tampering, crybaby moment for Tony Khan, but Impact doesn't matter. I don't know. Whatever it is, I like the segment. I like, what's been happening with House of Black mostly since they've been re-debuted. But this happened before. Every time they debut Malachi and every time they debut the House of Black, it's been great. And then something goes awry at some point. So
because they've got no end game, Jeff. Really, they don't know what they're doing. Even right now, as good as things look.
They know what they're doing. Malachi ran into Cody. Cody couldn't possibly lose. I mean, he lost 3 times, but he still had a win in the end, and that was the end. His 1 win, was more than Malachi's 3 wins. And with House of Black, they were getting too hot, but they're not the trios that the AEW wants. The trios AEW wants was Lucha Brothers and Best Friends and the Dark Order and the Elite. They wanted the Elite versus the Undisputed Era. They didn't want House of Black. So despite House of Black being awesome and being a great act and being something that like mainstream fans and niche fans could get behind, no, not interested. So hopefully this time they've learned their lesson from it, and hopefully the Elite have learned that they're fungible and they can take some losses too, and it's okay. They'll be okay there. They're still executive vice presidents.
But that's the problem. You just made me think about it as you were saying that. They should be the trios, Jeff. They should be the guys. They should be the champs. But, I mean, it'd be way more compelling to actually have a feud with the Elite and or the House of Black, but in a meaningful way. I'm talking about story and all. Unlike this that we have with the Death Triangle. That's what we call them now. Death Triangle, right? What's the story really? A hammer and the best out of 7 fucking matches for the trios belt? That's essentially the friggin' story. The story is they're cheating all the time, and that's that.
Basically, they're more or less evenly matched or a little bit overmatched, and so they cheat to get there. And I guess the subcurrent story is that Phoenix isn't totally on board with that. The other two are.
Chris says Buddy Murphy's jacked as fuck. His potential is wasted in AEW.
Well, that was his first mistake.
Well, yeah, that's true. He also says House of Black should be dominating much like the Ministry of Darkness back in the day. They should, but I don't know what you call dominance, but I guess they're dominating right now, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, they're dominating right now. And I guess
whatever they're dominating. They're dominating jobbers, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Dark Order is next, but if they have 3 members of the Dark Order who can perform this, they're not going to have Adam Page be jobbed out. But I think Reynolds has a busted leg, so it's going to be a while for them. And Best Friends, they don't job them out.
I don't get it, man.
I don't know who they're going to find. So I think they'll have to sacrifice Best Friends. I mean, listen, Orange Cassidy has been given enough honors that Best Friends can be jobbed out, and Malachi could win a feud against Orange Cassidy. It's time for him to give back a little. This business has been way too good to him.
Way too good to him. Absolutely, you're spot on. And look, to his credit, he's kind of trying to make the most of it, and some things are kind of funny, like what he gets up to on Fridays with Mark Henry. Kind of makes me laugh. I'll give him that.
Yeah. Listen, there's other things that can do. There's other groups they can job out and just have them look dominant and just do it every 2 weeks or 6 out of every 8 weeks. You can have Dalton Castle and the boys get destroyed. You could have 3 expendable guys from the JS. Menard and Parker and Guevara or Hager. They can get destroyed. You can have the workhorsemen +1. You can have AR Fox and Blake Christian and throw in someone else, or AR Fox and the Martin Top Flight, and they can get destroyed. You can have Private Party and Matt Hardy get destroyed. There's enough people on this roster that you can throw things together that doesn't need to be a story. The story is just House of Black is killing everybody, and everybody knows that if they're going to get ahead, they need to beat the bull elephant, and the bull elephant is House of Black. And they could spend 3 months doing that until they figure out what else to do.
Anyway, sounds exciting and compelling, Jeff. But anyway, we do get a matchup between Malachi Black versus QT Marshall. What is there to say other than Malachi Black wins by pinfall via the Black Mass? Jeff, anything to report here?
I think we've covered it.
All right. Well, we move on to a video package for Jamie Hayter defending her AEW Women's World Championship against Hikaru Shida next week. Then we get Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, is interviewed backstage with Sky Blue rolling up to ask if she can wrestle as good as she runs her mouth and challenges her for Rampage. Britt accepts the match in between bouts of indignation. I just want to say, first of all, Sky Blue, shut the fuck up. Don't even talk because I couldn't even hear you anyway. Like, speak up, girlie. She's like, I want to challenge you. Like seriously.
She's like Cora Jade without personality.
Ugh. Anyway, I won't even go there. But you know what?
I have 2 points for these 2 segments. One is, how many times has Britt Baker already beat Sky Blue? I'm sure it's at least 15 times.
Yeah, something like that.
The other point I have to make is, or question really, is Shida's Regina de Wave title also on the line?
I don't know. Does anyone get to wave the Regina the wave belt afterwards?
Right. Because it should be, otherwise you know who the winner is. I mean, but anyway, it's not is the answer. I'm pretty sure it's just the AEW title. But this is, I mean, listen, both these women can work, Sheeta and Hayter, that is, but neither one's interesting. I feel like Jamie Hayter, like she's already lost her momentum, and partly because AEW hasn't had her wrestling on TV since she's won. Like they should have had her beating the crap out of people, on shows. She should have done an open challenge, and they should have had like, people who don't really deserve to get a match, but are respectable. Kiera Hogan should have come out. Madison Rain should have come out. Diamante, I don't care, whatever. Abaddon, whatever. But she beats the crap out of them, and she should be destroying people. She should be like she should be doing like what Athena's doing, except with coordination to keep her momentum. I just feel like Jamie Hayter is like falling back into, oh yeah, she's the champion. I forgot.
Yeah, true. You can't forget. I don't know what is it with his company and that women's championship. Ever since Britt Baker's lost it, they cannot get anyone over with that damn belt, dude. It
doesn't help that they put Britt Baker on TV every week to speak. I mean,
that's true too.
If you want to let someone else shine, well, let her take a month off.
I guess. I mean,
both of her boyfriends are hurt, whichever one it is, whether it's Adam Cole or Christian Cage. They're both injured.
Or Tony Schiavone.
Wow.
Yeah. Speaking of Schiavone, just check out his new hairdo.
I did not check out his new hair. or I didn't note it.
Well, just saying. He's got no more... he sort of had the mullet sort of thing.
Oh, he lost the mullet? Good.
He lost the mullet, yeah.
Good. Anyway,
Chris also says in the chat, this is the comment of the night. House of Black is bound to lose a cheeseburger and Eli Isom and a string bean. That's quite possible.
Shinobi Shadow Squad. There you go. Cheeseburger, Eli Isom, and Blake Christian. Put them back together and let House of Black destroy. There's another threesome that you can have them kill. Opening match. Of hour 2 of Dynamite.
This is so tailor made for fucking Miro to destroy every little midget in this company. I'm telling you, dude.
Why do you have OGK there if not to get destroyed by the House of Black?
Why is Cheeseburger around these days again?
I don't know, and why can't I eat him? I love cheeseburgers.
Me too. Fuck, I love cheeseburgers. Heck.
Yeah.
Jesus. Anyway, but not that cheeseburger.
Put him in my belly.
Yeah. I mean, shit. He probably would fit in our bellies, Jeff. Look at him. I mean, seriously. Anyway, speaking of looking at him, we get a Jobber versus the Ocho in Action Andretti versus the Ocho in Chris Jericho. Why am I supposed to care about this kid? Who is he?
I don't know. Apparently he's been on Dark. Apparently he's the MCW champion.
He's signed to AEW. He's all elite, dude. While Big Bill isn't.
I know. Which means he's going to have to lose the MCW title. At that, I think it's he's got a defense. They're making a big deal of it now. I don't know who he is. I never heard of him before, to be frank with you, or I never paid attention to what his name was. I don't know if they're trying to go with a 1-2-3 Kid versus Razor Ramon story, which, by the way, that match was Scott Hall, Razor Ramon was killing the 1-2-3 Kid, and the 1-2-3 pulled out a fluke. It wasn't, a back and forth match like the Jericho ones. So I'm not sure if it's that story they're trying to go for, or that Jericho really was so shaken up by the swings that he really is suffering an after effect, and he's all discombobulated and so he's even losing to a young guy. Whatever it is, I don't really care. My big problem with this is why this guy. They have 20 young talents on their roster that we're supposed to get behind who
need a rub like Jericho to give him, man. But yeah, sorry, continue.
So unless you're releasing one of the Martins, Hook, Jungle Boy, or any number of, sort of like small, high-flying young wrestlers Captain Sean Dean, unless you're releasing one of them and he's taking their spot, or unless you're releasing 7 of them and he's taking their spot, what's the point of this? What benefit is there to anyone, especially if they're per appearance pay, to be here? I mean, you can't get over. I mean, okay, so this kid got put over once by Jericho. I mean, you have to imagine Jericho is going to go medieval on him next week.
Right, but if it's Wrestling 101, the kid should get his comeuppance, right? In the end.
Yeah, or Jericho gets medieval on, but he still pulls out a sneaky win and then runs out of the ring laughing, and then somebody comes to back him up so the Jericho Appreciation Society can't kill him. And Lord, if that's what happens, please don't be BCC. Be anyone other than
see. That's exactly what came to my mind. Did you know he's going to be Blackpool without the Combat Club in AEW, dude? Him and Yuta.
I don't care if it's the freaking Dark Order that saves him, and all of a sudden the JS is afraid of the Dark Order. Just don't be the BCC. I cannot take JAS versus BCC any longer.
Well, the thing I did love about this matchup was the fans chanting, "Let's go Jobber," and Jobber this, Jobber that. It was pretty funny.
At least this kid obviously works out. I mean, at least he exercises.
I guess. I mean, all I think of is Mario and Andretti though. When I
his name sucks, and yeah, of course he's 5'7".
Who the fuck names themselves Action Andretti? Like, think about that for a minute. Like, oh yeah, I know my last name is Andretti. And I'm all action, dude.
Someone whose dad loved Formula One racing and loved the movie Action Jackson.
Oh boy. Well, good luck to you, kid.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what to think of him, but nevertheless, he's all elite, Jeff, and that's something Big Bill can't claim.
Cool. Those budget cuts, Tony's cut a lot of costs, added yet another person to the roster. Cool.
I will say though, Jericho was kind of very stiff on the kid, almost like an initiation, shall I say, into AEW. Felt like
if he works for MCW, he's worked with a lot of Ring of Honor dojo people. He can handle it.
I've never heard of this kid, so you would have thought we would know something about him. Clearly, the fans in attendance didn't know who the fuck he was.
MCW is pretty much attached to the Ring of Honor dojo. Don't you worry. He was trained by Keys and Busky. And then Ken Dixon, Tony Deppen, the legend.
Ken Dixon.
Tony Deppen facing Ricky Morton on GCW. I mean, you're talking about basically the who's who of tough guys.
Cool. That's all I got to say. Well, anyway, Action Andretti ends up winning by pinfall with a running shooting star press. I guess in a real impressive win, and for whatever reason, Jericho agreed to put this kid over.
Hit him right on the hips. Oh, ow! That's gonna get the 3 count every time.
I don't know. Everyone must see something that we haven't seen yet. Hopefully, this kid is good at least cutting a promo. But I get my suspicions that I doubt he is any good at anything other than flips.
It was a surprise. I will give them that. It was a surprise, so that's fine.
It was a cheap surprise, though, let's be honest. But, yeah, it is what it is.
We'll see wrestling. Where they go. Everything's a little cheap.
Well, we'll see where they go. Next, though, we've got Ricky Starks cutting a promo backstage. He says he's winning the title tonight because he has no other options. He's grinded and paid his dues, and it all comes to a head tonight. Star-making turns are nothing new to him, and Max has to find validation in ratings and being a draw. That's the name of the game, kid, by the way. For Christ's sake. But nobody gives a damn, apparently, Jeff. That's the problem. And they do care about seeing Ricky Starks stomp his ass tonight. Yeah. Jeff?
Well, I was just saying, Tony cares. He cares a lot about ratings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So do the people at Discovery Warner Brothers. No, but listen, this promo was fine. It was good. This was Ricky Starks. I mean, he probably will never hit that same promo he hit a week ago. But this was a good follow up. I mean, it wasn't like it wasn't hitting on all cylinders, but it was pretty close. It was good. A little long, like the other one, but not 20 or 30%. Maybe like 10% too long. I just thought it was funny when he said it's coming to a head, and he's just got this giant, huge head.
Yeah, and he turns into like Big Head out of nowhere, like rah.
Yeah, but no, it's good promo. I mean, listen, they did a good for a feud that they sort of built out of nowhere, and a face that they sort of built
for
weirdly
a week,
coming off of losing a match to Hook in like 3 minutes, and then getting beaten up by his best friend. Somehow, I guess everybody wanted to love Ricky Starks, and it's worked. So good. I'm concerned about what happens next, but that's
back to mid card.
Yeah, that's the Booker's job to do, is to somehow keep him hot, even though MJF's going to be otherwise occupied. But one thing the AEW has told us is that you don't have to be occupied with one person. They have trouble keeping track of these things, but I don't know. We'll see. Promo was good.
They move into other feuds way too quickly, man. There's no build. There's no real story. There's a story for a week, and then bang, we move on straight away. Look at now. We know Danielson ain't winning the world title, but I feel like he should be winning the world title, right? But not right now. Wrong place, wrong opponent right now. It's not the time because of MJF. So what's the point of putting Danielson already? Why couldn't we have whatever happened to the days of having an actual feud? Why can't Starks and MJF go on a little longer, with some actual storytelling? But I guess not. I mean, shit. He's going. We already know Jeff what MJF is going to say to friggin' Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson. He's going to bring up his dead dad, right? 100%. He's going to bring up alcohol because he was an alcoholic. He's going to bring up Regal. You know what I'm saying? He's going to bring up the Cuckold Club. We already know what his promos are going to be.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, and Daniel Bryan's going to say, yeah, he's going to say a lot of same things that Ricky Stark said, that he's waste. He's the problem with the planets. The reason that nobody cares about each other anymore. Nobody cares about the planet or climate change is all because of the excess and the obnoxiousness of the people like MJF. He's going to teach him a lesson for the planet, for himself, but mostly for his mentor, who is so injured that he can't even be here anymore.
Does that mean we're getting Captain Planet Danielson? Is that what's happening?
Of course. Well, everything gets recycled in wrestling, and Brian loves recycling.
He does. That's true. That's hence why he's Captain Planet. And he's our hero, Jeff, because he's going to take pollution down to 0.
Well, he is a man.
He is a man. Speaking of men, but not really, because next we have another matchup. But actually, before we go on to that, we see Jericho storming mad towards his locker room, smashing gear and road cases.
So it said staff center, and then it said Chris Jericho under the placard under that. Or staff locker, it said. And then it said that Chris Jericho's, the name was taped underneath it.
Yeah, this is like a throwback. We're going full circle when Jericho was young, when he used to have his little cries, like on WCW, especially his WCW run. But
he was throwing a temper tantrum. That's right. That's what Chris Jericho is good at. He's basically plays a spoiled brat without the spoiled part.
Absolutely. But you know what? Next match was surprisingly, I was kind of into it. Not sure why, but it was Ruby Soho versus Tame Mello. You know what? Tame Mello has improved so much, dude.
I think she's gotten back to the point where, when she first left WWE, her first year in AEW,
she's much
really
better than that, dude.
Then she regressed again, and now she's gotten back to the point.
Right.
She's
confident. She knows what she knows when to stare at the camera. She knows how to get heat now. Suddenly, she looks more believable. I don't know what's happened.
I also think that when they hurt Ruby, that I think Ty realized, I have to take this more seriously. I can't do this. I don't know if Sammy feels the same way, but I can't explain it because it hasn't been that long, and it's like she is refocused. And this was good. And she hit a move on Ruby, one of those short DDTs.
Dude, I don't know if you caught that though. Before that, I felt like there was some receipts happening in this match, because there was a point where Ruby done a forearm right on her neck right here, dude, and it pissed her off where she kind of just lost it and started smacking her legitly, dude. And then from then on, she was like just a mean chick.
I don't know, but yeah, pretty good match. Ruby got a revenge. She won. Then it got a little bit weird with Anna Jay. Like she couldn't run. She was like power walking, like sort of like
girly, man.
It was like a cartoon. It was like when Fred Flintstone would get mad, he would like do that walk there. I don't know. It was
She's
a little bit
too
awkward.
girly for pro wrestling, dude. She's your typical all-American girl next door. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. Like, she's hot. I'll give her that, but she's not a pro wrestler, dude.
Anyway, you know what else are they gonna do with Ruby Soho? What else are they gonna do with all these ladies? I mean, that's the problem. They have so many people and nothing to do, and now they have to sort of minimize the amount of Ring of Honor stuff on the show allegedly.
Dicks.
Of course, the Regina DeWave is now sort of a constant fixture. whatever the hell that is. I know it's a Japanese promotion. I know.
I could have sworn it was an Italian woman.
Sounds like it.
Regina DeWave.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? But whatever.
Match was fine. Ruby looked good. Tay looked good. This is the best the Ruby's looked since she's been in there. But
Tay made herself look strong even though she lost, dude. I felt like she made herself look really good in that loss.
But Ruby's punches are terrible.
Terrible. Just Ruby, look at her. She's terrible.
No, Ruby's not terrible, but the punches are terrible. Like the rest of her is okay. Don't punch, just kick. Don't punch, kick or elbow something, or use the forearm. Something.
Right?
You can't punch. You're bad at punching. Just don't do it.
Yeah, no, I agree, 100%. But
getting the green hair back has really helped her up. That's helped. The orange and all the other color hairs, nothing ever quite felt right. This is better.
Well, for whatever reason, I actually enjoyed this match, and I would have preferred Taya Mallow going over, but we get Ruby.
It's a shame she finally got her game on after they added like 6 people with the same or higher status into the women's wrestling division since she arrived and got her.
True. She had complications. Excuse me, with her nose too, dude.
Yeah, so it was reconstructive nose surgery. I kept saying neck surgery, but it wasn't neck surgery. I don't know why I kept saying like nose and neck are both like 4-letter words with an N. I don't.
And for whatever reason, I understood you too. I wasn't thinking of a neck even when you were saying neck. So.
I realized I'm like listening back. I'm like, why did I say neck? And then I'm like, how many?
We all do it, dude. I've even noticed myself say some things like, "Why the fuck did I say that?"
I was doing it on all shows and all platforms, and nobody corrected me.
Yeah, because everybody, you don't notice it like initially until you go back over it. But even though we've all fucked up like that, we all kind of knew what we'll really.
Like imagine if I said reconstructive neck surgery. Was she Frankenstein?
Maybe.
Huh?
Well, speaking of Frankenstein, Jeff, backstage we get Hangman Adam Page. He's being interviewed. He asks if people want a status update, if he's still got migraines every morning, if he's cleared to face John Moxley even. He'll give you the update he should have given in October when he was snoring on the mat. He came into the ambulance and started to ask him questions, and the right answers came out. Where he was, who was he wrestling? But then the EMTs gave him his phone and asked if his son was his lock screen, and Page couldn't remember his name for a solid hour. So if Mox, it's long-term storytelling, just quietly, Jeff. So if Mox wants to fight him, he'll be there on Friday. He knows where the ring is, but he won't go back to that hell again. Yeah.
Breaking news, the Motor City Machine Guns just regained the Impact Tag Team Championships.
Ooh.
I know, everyone
Motor
out there.
City.
Yeah. I hope you were sitting.
Hey, I was a fan of theirs, I won't lie. But
sure, 15 years ago.
Now? Exactly.
12 years ago?
Now? 15 years ago for sure, easy. When they first kind of formed.
Sure, why not?
Anyway, yeah, who cares? Impact should just die already, but I get it. It should, man. Like the vet says every week on his show.
They're like Lazarus.
Turn on the lights.
They've been resurrected and never mentioned again. They just wander around. They can never die, but they just live forever in some sort of limbo.
It's amazing, dude, and I'll take my hat off to them. I don't know how they've managed, but they have. But yeah, whatever. Anyway, Dustin Rhodes backstage next.
Wait, I want to.
Sorry, I thought.
I actually thought this was the best that Adam Page has spoken. This was his best promo. Evil Uno being in the background was a little bit weird.
Why? Why was he even there?
To get paid to be to appear. That's why, because he's part of the Tony.
Freaking idiot.
Right. Yeah, it's stupid. And I guess for the BCC to beat up, or for Moxley to beat up, but I actually thought this was a good promo by Adam Page. It actually sounded like he was a real person for a change. So you can't you can't use this forever, but if he can channel this, I like this Adam Page.
We'll see, Jeff. Time will tell where they go with this. But anyway, we'll see. Like I said, I didn't think really too much of his little promo, but he was just...
Clearly, you were just like going to fly right through it.
Yeah, because, man, I was such a big fan of this guy. See, long before AEW even. And
is he even a pillar? Man. Is he still a pillar?
He should be, but I don't think he is anymore. That's
the weird thing. His age.
But he should be, though. Technically, he should be. But, I don't know, man. Like I said, we need to see where they go with, if you want to call... How many resets have they done with Hangman, dude? At least 3 now. This is the 3rd time.
Okay, so he's going to be 32 in July. So he's 31.
All right, he barely scrapes in going by that age.
I mean, he's still young, but he's one
of
their young pillars, right? They really didn't call him a pillar, and they sort of always left. I sort of don't blame him for sort of having a chip on him. He was sort of like the forgotten guy from the Bullet Club, and now they sort of left him out of the 4 pillars.
And he's been left out of the Elite, even though he was part of the Elite.
Yeah, but he sort of broke up with them. He's sort of in Dark Order, but but he breaks up with... He's like me. He doesn't have any friends. He doesn't really keep any friends.
He's the lone cowboy, dude.
Except for Evil Uno, and he doesn't even really want to keep him around.
I know, dude. I'm waiting for the day where he just says, "Fuck you, bitches."
All right. Well, I actually thought it was better than you.
Really?
Yeah. But okay. What's next?
I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just... I don't know. I need to see what happens with him. But anyway, what's next, you ask? We get Dustin Rhodes. He's backstage with his best pals and best friends and the spooky boy, Jeff, in Danhausen.
Mm-hmm.
And says they'll crush their opponents, Butcher and The Blade, as Kip Sabian and your boy Trent Seven, Jeff.
Yes, my boy.
And we go to the break. Ya boy. As Jay
I couldn't care less about anything than this match, except for BCC versus JAS. I want to make that clear if I haven't been clear enough about it.
Sounds like a weird bondage porn. But anyway.
Exactly.
Thank God we can move away from that. There's not much for me to say about that other than ID gaff. But we move on to our main event. Finally, it is Maxwell Jacob Freeman, your AEW World Champion, and your Dynamite Ring Champion, I guess, for the last 3 years.
Yeah, Diamond. Yeah. The inaugural and only Diamond Ring holder, Dynamite Diamond Ring holder.
I guess, even though he took that gimmick straight off Cody in Ring of Honor, if you remember. Remember when he was getting everyone to kiss his ring, the ring? When Cody was part of ROH?
Almost nothing in wrestling is new, which is why I'm sort of so high on this Iron Survivor match actually working.
Oh, well. Hate to disappoint. But anyway, it's Maxwell, it's Starks, it is for your AEW and rings in a diamond winner takes all fucking match because they love gimmicks every week. Oh, did you know we got another gimmick Dynamite next week? But anyway, this match is pretty good. The Rochambeau looks piss weak.
There were a lot of botches at pivotal parts of this thing. I mean, they had to do the bridge up, the synchronized bridge up twice. Then Ricky couldn't get. It's like neither one of them was strong enough to do what they needed to do towards the end. It was okay. The match was okay, but there were botches at a really bad time. And listen, for his first defense, I get it. Ricky's hot, MJF's a heel, but this was a shitty way to end it, and it was dumb. I mean, use the ref as a distraction, that's fine. But he's looking at his shirt and looking the other way, He touched my shirt. Why would he do that? Like, I thought he was going to call for a disqualification because he touched the ref, but the way they did was just Dominic kicked him in the nuts and rolled him up. I mean, it was a dopey, anticlimactic end. Maybe for a regular Dynamite it would be okay, but not for the first offense and not for Winter's Coming, which they, try to package as if it's a quasi pay-per-view like event.
And like sometimes it did feel that way, I won't lie, but...
Oh, yeah. Grand Slam definitely did.
Oh, no, Grand Slam always does, definitely. Like,
last year's Winter is Coming did.
Right. Yeah, no, for real, I agree. Last year's doesn't even compare to this year's. I'm talking about the Grand Slams, but... Anyway, Maxwell Jacob Freeman ends up winning and retaining his AEW World Championship and the Dynamite Diamond Ring. But as MJF goes to leave the American Dragoon, or Dragon, Bryan Danielson comes out the entryway. He gives chase, but Max hightails it out of the arena through the crowd as Danielson raises Stark's hand and hugs him, and that's the show, folks. But before we go, Jeff, there is one more question that Chris wants to ask, and he says, last question for the night for Jimmy T. Will you be attending the WWE event that they have planned for your country of Australia in 2023? If it falls between the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, you'd be in for a hell of a show. Yes, I plan on going. I've attended all the major shows that have been held down here.
He's never left his house.
Yeah, I've never left my house, including I even went to Nitro and Thunder back in the day when I actually had tapings here. WCW back in 2000.
I would like to say something about Bryan Danielson. Because
go for it.
Why is he putting over Ricky Starks like this? When, during his BCC tenure, has he put over people that he hasn't done battle with and bled with? When is he just giving the nod to random baby faces? I could see why he's going after MJF, but why? I wish he would have attacked Ricky Starks or hit him or put him in the label lock or something. But to put him over like that, Ricky Starks didn't need the rub. Bryan doesn't need, but it's completely out of his character. Whatever the hell it is, that isn't it now. The whole thing about the BCC is, I don't like you unless we fight and bleed together.
Yeah. Has anyone ever heard of hepatitis? Just quietly. Ding dong. Hello. Just saying.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes. Have I ever heard about hepatitis?
I'm just saying, if that's what it means to be brothers, heck,
that's a Greek word.
Get hip C. I was gonna say it's a Greek guy.
Anatoly.
No, his name is Kostas Hepatitis.
Okay, cool.
That's his name.
Right.
Yes, he's actually quite poisonous, Jeff. He can
probably your legal name.
No.
All right. So before we go, what do you want to say?
I totally forgot.
All right, well, let's go because we're about to be longer than the actual Dynamite show.
I know. I'm surprised that we had so much to talk about. To be honest,
we always do, Jimmy. I mean, we had a lot catching up to do. We haven't seen each other since yesterday when we did two shows together.
But you and I doing like 2 hours plus just on, like, usually if it's the three of us, sure, but when it's you and I,
well,
I guess there wasn't a lot to talk about.
Not doing Hammerlock Hangover this week, so I'm lonely.
Oh yes, that's true. Which is bi-weekly now, right? That's official.
Well, I mean, it's as official as anything. Yeah, I mean that's the plan, is to be bi-weekly. But who knows? Maybe we're seeing other podcasters. I don't know.
Anyway, Jeff, tell them where they can find you, dude.
On Twitter at IrkaSpellND. You can also find me on the PWC and the networks that we cross-pollinate with, like Channel Attitude and the Hamlin Media Group. You can find me off and on Uncaged. Maybe I'm a regular now, I'm not sure. I was on Next Level with the Vet and Big Ray yesterday on Hamlin and Channel Attitude. Not Jimmy. I was on. They love me. They hate him. We just talked about Hammerlock Hangover, which you can find here on the PWC, as well as the PW Hustle and the Wrestling Super Network. And you can find my non-wrestling podcast also on all of those fine networks, including the Me Media Group, the PWC, PW Hustle, and the Wrestling Super Network. And that includes Garden of the Doom and Garden of Doom. Garden of Doom is everything that goes bump in the night. It's scary, it's cryptid, it's urban legends, it's mythology, it's theosophy, it's geopolitics, it's history, it's alternate history, it's anthropology, you name it, we've got it. It's a little bit of pop culture thrown in there as well. We do deep dives into things like Lovecraft, vampires, gargoyles, Babylon 5, Battlestar Galactica. And then Garden Views is more topical, often legal. You get to hear my mainstream intellectual side as opposed to Garden Doom, where often I'm more spiritual.
Ah, very nice, very nice. Well, you can follow me on Twitter at the PWC Network and also at DJ Mass Effects. Please like and subscribe right here at the pwcnetwork.podbean.com, where you can find all our shows. Also, please like and subscribe at channelattitude.com with $5. You get to see me
when I was a Laker girl.
Yeah, but like I was saying, you get to see me or Jeff or any of our fine guests. Also, like and subscribe at HaminMediaGroup.podbean.com, where you can find all our affiliate shows, and at the Blow Off and the Hustle, like Jeff said. And most importantly, also at the Dollar Club Wrestling. They're going PG-13, Jeff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to be there January 7th, and I want to tell you that I represent everything Dollar Club.
True. That's true. I'll buy that for $1. Anyway, in saying that, I am Jimmy T. He is the Evil Winter Dose, Jeff Lippman, and you've been listening and watching the PWC Wednesday Night Skirmish Winter is Coming edition. See yous.
Stay evil, my friend.